Confidence. You've heard that word 1,000 times. You've seen it used to sell success, power, attention. But what if everything you've been told about confidence is wrong? They told you confidence was loud, that it was the person who talks the most, walks the fastest, and demands to be seen. But true confidence doesn't shout. It doesn't chase the spotlight. It doesn't beg to be noticed. True confidence is calm. It's steady. It's the silent force that fills a room without saying a word. It's the presence that makes others stop and listen without you ever asking them to. Because real confidence doesn't need to announce itself. It already knows who it is. So let's start there. Forget what the world told you. Forget the image of confidence as arrogance, as noise, as domination. Confidence is not performance. Confidence is control. Control of your mind. Control of your emotions. Control of yourself. Most people walk through life chasing approval. They measure their worth by how others respond: a look, a comment, a number on a screen. Their emotions rise and fall with every opinion. They become addicted to validation and enslaved by it. You've felt that before, haven't you? That ache in your chest when someone doesn't text back? That tightness in your throat when your ideas get ignored? That quiet exhaustion of always trying to prove your worth? You've worked hard. You've given everything. But still you feel unseen, and somewhere along the way, you started to believe that maybe confidence just isn't for you. That some people are born with it, and you're not. That maybe you'll always be the one overthinking, apologizing, doubting. But here's the truth. Confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you build from the inside out. Confidence isn't a crown that others give you. It's armor that you forge in silence, piece by piece, moment by moment. It's not about being the loudest in the room, it's about being the most grounded. Because the world doesn't respect volume, it respects stability. The loudest voice fades fast. But the calm one, the one that speaks few words, each one chosen, each one steady, that voice is unforgettable. If you've ever felt small, you're not broken. You're simply disconnected from your own power. Because confidence is not the absence of fear, it's the refusal to be controlled by it. It's standing in the middle of chaos and saying, I am still here. It's hearing doubt whisper in your ear and answering, I decide what I believe. It's walking into a room full of noise and knowing you don't need to compete to be heard. You just have to be. Real confidence is quiet because it comes from certainty, not approval. And certainty doesn't shout. Maybe your whole life you've been trying to earn permission. Permission to speak. Permission to rest. Permission to be enough. You've explained yourself to people who never listened. You've justified your worth to people who never cared. You've spent years trying to convince others that you belong, and in the process, you forgot to convince yourself. That ends here. Because the truth is, you don't owe anyone an explanation for being who you are. You don't need to shrink yourself to make others comfortable. You don't have to prove your worth to people who can't see it. The moment you stop chasing approval is the moment you start stepping into your real power. Dangerous confidence begins there, in silence, in stillness, in the decision that you will no longer beg to be seen. Let me tell you something the world won't. Most people are terrified of stillness. They're addicted to noise. They talk to fill the air, scroll to fill the silence, work to avoid themselves. But the ones who are truly powerful, they move differently. They don't rush. They don't explain. They don't react to every spark. They know that silence unsettles the weak, because silence exposes what's real. And so, they live in it. They walk with calm steps. They breathe slowly when others panic. They speak last, but their words hit hardest, because calmness is the ultimate flex. Anyone can be loud. Only a few can be still. You see, confidence is not about more. It's about less noise, less approval, Less explaining. Less pretending. Confidence is subtraction, removing everything that dilutes your power until what remains is pure presence. It's walking into a room and needing nothing. Not attention. Not validation. Not permission. Because when you need nothing, you cannot be controlled. That's dangerous. That's magnetic. That's confidence. You've been told to believe in yourself. But how can you believe in something you've never truly met? So let's meet yourself, not the one shaped by opinions, but the one buried beneath them. The self that exists before comparison, before apology, before fear. That's where real confidence begins, not in pretending, but in remembering. You were born confident. Watch a child, they don't ask permission to exist. They move with curiosity. They speak without hesitation. It's only after the world teaches them to fear judgment that they begin to doubt. And now, you're here trying to unlearn everything that dimmed your fire. So this is where your awakening begins. Confidence isn't built overnight. It's built in quiet decisions, the ones no one sees. The decision to hold your tongue instead of arguing back. The decision to walk away instead of begging to stay. The decision to keep going when no one claps. Every one of those choices builds a brick in the foundation of your strength. Confidence doesn't come from the mirror. It comes from moments, from micro-victories, from the thousand small times you kept your word when no one was watching. Confidence is earned, and the currency is discipline. So if you feel like you're not there yet, good, that means you're still building. It means the fire hasn't died, because the journey to dangerous confidence always begins with doubt. Doubt is the spark, the friction that wakes you up. The voice that says, I'm not where I want to be. But doubt is not your enemy. It's your map. It points you toward the parts of yourself that need strength. And strength only grows in challenge. So when you feel fear, remember you're exactly where you need to be. Now listen closely, because this next truth will change how you move forever. Confidence doesn't come after you succeed. It comes before. It's the force that drives you into the unknown when you don't yet have proof. The world says, show me. Then I'll believe. Confidence says, believe. Then I'll show you. Confidence is faith not in luck, not in applause, but in your own ability to handle whatever comes next. You don't need guarantees. You just need certainty in yourself. And that's what makes it dangerous. Because once you stop reacting, you become unstoppable. Let this be the moment you redefine confidence for yourself. Not the kind that needs to be seen, but the kind that makes others feel your presence. Not the kind that performs for attention, but the kind that walks away from noise. Not the kind that fears rejection, but the kind that sees rejection as redirection. That's dangerous confidence. It's not loud. It's not showy. It's not fragile. It's quiet power. And once you have it, you don't need to say a word. So if you're listening to this right now, if you're standing on the edge of your own doubt, hear me. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are being rebuilt. Confidence is not a mask you wear. It's a muscle you train. And every time you choose calm over chaos, clarity over noise, discipline over emotion, that muscle grows. You won't notice it at first. But one day, you'll look back and realize that the person you used to chase no longer feels far away because you've become them. Stop trying to prove yourself. Start building yourself. Stop seeking applause. Start earning respect your own first. Stop waiting to feel ready. Confidence doesn't wait. Confidence walks into the unknown and figures it out on the way. You don't need anyone's permission to begin. You only need your decision. Because the moment you decide, you've already changed. Confidence is calm. Confidence is control. Confidence is self-respect. And once you have those three, no one can take them from you. Because confidence isn't what happens when the world believes in you. Confidence is what happens when you finally believe in yourself without needing the world to agree. So take a breath. Slow it down. Feel the ground beneath your feet. You don't need to rush. You don't need to prove. You just need to remember. Confidence is already within you, waiting for your silence to let it speak. This is the awakening. This is where the noise ends and the power begins. Confidence isn't given. It's built through repetition, through control, through fire. You don't wake up one morning and find it waiting by your bed. You craft it, brick by brick, decision by decision. The first brick is your inner voice. Because no voice in this world has more power over you than the one inside your head. You talk to yourself every single day in whispers, in thoughts, in the spaces between action. And most of those words, they aren't kind. You question yourself. You doubt your strength. You replay your failures as if they define you. You speak to yourself in ways you'd never speak to someone you love. But here's the truth. You become what you repeat. You rise or fall according to the tone of your own voice. So if you want to change your life, start by changing how you speak to yourself. When that inner critic starts shouting, answer it with respect, not fear. Replace its chaos with clarity. Say it with certainty. I respect myself. I can handle anything. I need no approval. Say it again. Let it echo until it drowns out the noise. Because those words aren't just a mantra, they're armor. Each repetition strengthens your mental spine. Each repetition builds a wall between you and every lie that once held you back. This is how confidence begins to take form, not in applause, not in validation, but in the private dialogue between your thoughts and your truth. Then comes the next layer, self-respect. Confidence can't survive without it. You cannot feel powerful while you betray yourself. Every time you say yes when you meant no. Every time you break a promise to yourself. You chip away at your own foundation. And then you wonder why it all feels shaky. Respect isn't about how others treat you. It's about what you tolerate from yourself. So, keep your promises. If you say you'll show up, show up. If you set a boundary, hold it. If you say you're done with something that drains you, be done. Because self-respect doesn't come from perfection. It comes from consistency. From the quiet strength of following through, even when it's inconvenient. Even when no one's watching. The people who walk with real confidence, they're not fearless. They just trust themselves. They know that no matter what happens, they'll keep their word. They've proven it one promise at a time. You want to build confidence, start small. Keep one promise today, then another tomorrow. Stack them until they become your identity. Because once you can trust yourself, you'll stop begging the world to trust you. And now, we face the biggest enemy of all, the need for approval. Approval is the invisible chain that keeps most people trapped. It's the reason they stay quiet when they should speak. The reason they say yes when they mean no. The reason they hide their dreams from those who might laugh. But listen carefully. You will never be free if you live for permission. You cannot lead while you're still waiting to be liked. Approval is a drug, and like any drug, it gives a quick high, but leaves a long hangover. You feel good for a moment, then empty again. Searching for the next dose of validation, confidence breaks that addiction. It says, I don't need your applause to keep moving. It says, I am proud of myself in silence. It says, I am not for everyone, and that's the point. The moment you stop trying to be understood, you start being respected. Because people may not agree with your path, but they'll feel your conviction. And conviction commands attention more than approval ever could. Then comes the test of control, emotional power. Anyone can stay calm when life is easy. True mastery appears when pressure hits. That's when most people lose control. They react. They explode. They crumble. But the ones who hold power, they respond with silence. They don't let anger choose their words. They don't let insecurity dictate their tone. They pause. They breathe. They wait for clarity before they act. Because silence isn't weakness, it's discipline. It's what separates those who react from those who lead. Emotional control is the mark of strength. It doesn't mean you don't feel. It means your feelings don't own you. It means your emotions serve you, not the other way around. You will never control life, but you can control your reaction. And that control, that composure, is what makes people trust you, follow you, remember you. Power is calm, always. And then, there's your body language, the message you send before you ever speak. Because before anyone hears your words, they feel your presence. You've seen it before someone walks into a room, says nothing, and everyone notices. That's energy. That's alignment between body and belief. You can't fake it, but you can train it. Lift your head. Uncross your arms. Slow your movements. Breathe deeply. Meet the world with open posture, not defense. Your body speaks before your mouth ever does. It tells people whether you're certain or uncertain, confident or hesitant. So let your body speak first with calm, with power, with intent. Because when your body moves with certainty, your mind starts to believe it. And when your mind believes it, your life begins to reflect it. That's the secret. Confidence isn't just a thought. It's an entire way of carrying yourself through the world. Now we enter the hardest part: discomfort. The space where growth hides. Discomfort is where transformation happens. Not comfort, not safety. Discomfort. Most people run from it. They hide from challenge. They stay in jobs they hate, relationships they've outgrown, identities that keep them small, because comfort feels easier. But comfort is the cage that kills potential. Growth lives where comfort dies. Every time you choose the hard thing, you evolve. Every time you do what scares you, you expand. Every time you step into discomfort, you collect proof that you're stronger than you thought. So don't fear it, pursue it. Make discomfort your ally. Because what you avoid controls you. But what you confront, you master. Walk into the fear. Sit with it. Let it shape you. You'll come out on the other side sharper, stronger, more grounded. Confidence is not built in the moments of ease. It's forged in the fire of resistance. And now, the final step of transformation: lead. Don't react. Most people spend their entire lives reacting to opinions, to emotions, to circumstances. They move like leaves in the wind wherever life blows. They follow. But leaders, true leaders, they don't chase storms. They create direction. They choose their response before the world chooses it for them. To lead is to decide how you show up before anyone else does. It's to walk into uncertainty with vision, not fear. It's to take responsibility for your energy, no matter what chaos surrounds you. Because leadership begins with self-leadership. You cannot lead others until you lead your mind. When you stop reacting, you start creating. When you stop following the noise, you start writing your own story. Confidence is the quiet authority of someone who leads their own emotions. And that's what draws people in, not noise, not status, but control. So now, look at what's changing inside you. You're no longer the person waiting to feel confident. You're becoming the person who acts confident and therefore becomes it. You're building a relationship with your mind, earning respect from yourself, and breaking free from every opinion that once chained you. Every small decision to stay calm, to follow through, to stay disciplined is shaping a new identity. And this identity doesn't need attention. It doesn't need to prove. It doesn't need permission. This identity is self-made. It's forged from silence, consistency, and strength. Understand this. Confidence isn't something you feel. It's something you do. You practice it until it becomes you. You train your mind like a muscle to think clearly, to speak with respect, to stay calm under pressure. You train your emotions like soldiers, disciplined, loyal, ready. You train your habits like rituals, Each one a vote for the person you're becoming. And when all of that aligns, the voice, the body, the action, you stop trying to be confident. You simply are. That's the transformation. It's not flashy. It's not overnight. It's built in private, revealed in silence, and recognized by everyone, even if they can't explain why. Confidence grows from consistent action, from keeping your word, from mastering your emotions, from respecting your time, from saying less and meaning more. Every act of discipline builds belief. Every moment of calm builds control. Every act of self-respect builds power. And soon, what once felt forced becomes natural. You stop trying to be confident. Because confidence has become your baseline, you've learned to lead yourself, to control your energy, to walk through discomfort with grace. That's transformation, not in how you look, but in how you carry your soul. So remember this: confidence doesn't arrive in applause. It arrives in silence. It's born in small choices that no one celebrates. It grows in the moments you keep moving without being seen. It solidifies when you choose discipline over desire, peace over reaction, respect over attention. You don't chase confidence. You build it. And when you build it right, it becomes unshakable. This is the transformation from doubt to discipline, from fear to faith, from reaction to leadership. And by the end of this chapter, you'll no longer wonder what confidence feels like. You'll know because you'll be living it. You've come far. You've fought through noise, through doubt, through every voice that told you you weren't enough. You've built from silence. You've trained your mind. You've learned to respect yourself. But now, there's one final level. The level where confidence stops being something you practice and becomes something you are. This is mastery. And mastery begins when you let go of control. You've spent your life chasing outcomes. You've been taught that success means results, numbers, recognition, applause. But real confidence doesn't depend on results. It lives in the effort. It lives in the act of giving your best and being at peace with whatever follows. Because once you do your part, the rest isn't yours to hold. That's where most people get stuck. They confuse control with certainty. They think confidence means knowing exactly what will happen next. But that's not confidence, that's fear, disguised as order. Confidence is the opposite. It's standing in uncertainty, unbothered. It's trusting that you can handle both success and failure, and remain the same person through both. That's what makes you untouchable. Detach from outcomes. Detach from the need for things to go your way. Detach from the illusion that your value depends on achievement. Because when you attach your peace to results, you'll forever live on unstable ground. You win, you rise. You lose, you break. That's not power. That's dependency. Real mastery is effort without desperation. It's doing the work with full intensity, then releasing the outcome with full faith. Say to yourself, I give everything I have, and then I let it go. That's freedom. That's peace. And peace is the highest form of confidence. You can't control the storm. You can only control your breath. The world will always bring chaos, delays, rejections, changes, criticism. You can't stop the waves. But you can learn to stand still while they crash. Most people panic in storms. They let emotion drive the ship. They scream, overreact, fight against what they cannot change. But not you. Not anymore. You've trained for this. You know how to slow your breath when everything speeds up. You know that stillness is strength. And control begins in calm. When you remain calm, you make better decisions. You conserve your energy. You see clearly while everyone else drowns in noise. And in that calm, you become a leader. Because leadership isn't about commanding others. It's about mastering yourself under pressure. So when the storm hits, don't flinch. Don't react. Breathe. Center yourself in silence. The chaos will pass. But your control will remain. And that control will remind you you are not at the mercy of the world. You are the anchor in it. The next step in mastery is boundaries. Because confidence without boundaries will collapse. You've spent enough time giving your energy to everything and everyone. Now, you protect it. You protect it like it's sacred because it is. Not every battle deserves your presence. Not every argument deserves your voice. Not every opportunity deserves your time. When you know your worth, you stop negotiating it. When you value your peace, you stop explaining it. Say it once. Say it clearly. And never apologize for choosing yourself. Boundaries aren't walls, they're filters. They don't keep the world out. They keep your energy clean. They allow you to give without being drained, to love without losing yourself, to serve without surrendering your center. Every time you enforce a boundary, you strengthen your self-respect. Every time you say no with calm certainty, you remind the world that your time has value, and people will notice. They may not say it, but they'll feel it. They'll start treating you differently. Because you treat yourself differently. That's the quiet power of boundaries. They don't just protect your peace. They command respect. Now comes the final transformation. The one that separates the confident from the untouchable. You must learn to live as if you need nothing. Because the moment you need nothing, you become everything. Most people live their entire lives chasing money, attention, relationships, validation. They run faster and faster, hoping that one more thing will finally make them feel complete. But need is weakness. Need means control, not yours, but theirs. Whatever you depend on owns you. But when you reach the point where your peace is internal, when your happiness is self-supplied, you become free. Success stops being a trophy. It becomes expression, a reflection of who you already are. Not proof of your worth. You no longer work to impress. You work because creation itself fulfills you. You no longer chase relationships out of emptiness. You attract them from wholeness. You no longer fear failure. You understand it's part of mastery, a teacher, not a threat. Freedom replaces fear. Peace replaces pressure. And suddenly, everything you used to chase starts chasing you. That's what living untouchable feels like. Not numb, not cold, just complete. You don't overreact. You don't over-explain. You don't overextend. You move with quiet precision, calm certainty, and grounded power. You understand that nothing outside of you can define you. No compliment, no insult, no outcome, because everything you need, you already carry within. You don't wake up hoping life goes your way. You wake up ready to handle it. No matter how it goes. You don't chase control. You are control. And that's the difference between the confident and the master. The confident person knows they can win. The master knows they can lose and remain whole. So now, look at yourself. You're not who you were when you began this journey. The noise is gone. The chaos is quiet. What remains is something solid, something unbreakable. You've learned to speak to yourself with respect. You've learned to keep your promises. You've learned to let silence lead when emotion tried to take over. You've built calm in the storm, boundaries in the noise, and peace in the pressure. And through it all, you discovered that confidence was never about becoming more. All the approval seeking, all the pretending, all the overthinking gone. What's left is real, raw, grounded, powerful. You've become someone who doesn't need to prove their strength because your stillness already shows it. So from this moment forward, live as if you need nothing. Because when you need nothing, you can give everything. Give your focus fully. Give your love freely. Give your effort without fear. You don't need the world to see you. You don't need to control every outcome. You don't need to be liked, or praised, or understood. You just need to stay aligned with your purpose, your discipline, your peace. Everything else will follow. And remember this truth: when nothing shakes you, nothing controls you. When no outcome defines you, no failure destroys you. When you can stand calm in the middle of chaos, you've reached mastery. That's what it means to be unshakable. To be still while the world spins. To be free while others chase. To be complete while others seek completion. You are calm. You are clear. You are unshakable. And that doesn't mean you'll never fall again. It means that when you do, you'll rise with composure. It means that when life tests you, you'll respond with grace. It means that you'll face rejection, pain, chaos, and walk through all of it without losing yourself. That is true confidence. That is mastery. That is peace. So close your eyes, breathe deeply, and remember, the goal was never to be loud, never to be perfect, never to be seen. The goal was to be solid, grounded, certain, to live so aligned with who you are that no storm, no silence, no rejection can move you from your center. That's the kind of confidence that changes lives. That's the kind of presence that inspires others without effort. That's the kind of energy that doesn't demand respect, it commands it. Because it's real. Because it's earned. Because it's you. From this moment on, walk through life untouchable. Walk through chaos calm. Walk through uncertainty steady. You are no longer chasing confidence. You've become it. And that's something no one can take from you. When nothing shakes you, nothing controls you. You are calm. You are clear. You are unshakable. Be still. Be certain. Be free. Be untouchable. If this message reached you today, if it stirred something inside you, a spark, a reminder, a shift, then don't let it fade when the video ends. Take a breath. Carry that calm forward. And if this voice spoke to your journey, share it with someone who needs to hear it too. Because confidence grows when it's shared. Strength multiplies when it's passed on. You never know who's waiting for the words you just heard. So, drop a comment, tell me what part of this hit the deepest for you. Was it the silence, the control, the freedom? Your story might become the spark for someone else's transformation. Hit that like button if this resonated with you. It's a small action, but it tells the algorithm that calm, strength, and truth still matter. And if you haven't already, subscribe. Join this space. Because this isn't just a channel. It's a movement, a place for those who choose growth over comfort, discipline over noise, and peace over pressure. Together, we're building a generation of minds that can't be shaken. A generation that moves with purpose, leads with clarity, and lives with dangerous confidence. So stay connected. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and remember, confidence isn't found, it's built. Every day. In silence. In discipline. In you. Be calm. Be clear. Be unshakable. And I'll see you in the next chapter.